best thing.
I'll tell you, the more I learn about honey, the more it's exactly like wine grapes. You know, the rain affects it, the temperature affects it, you know, the time of year affects it. It's the same. It's amazing.
Yep.
It'd be really cool if they'd let us put like locational, you know, like they put varietal and
the honey Torah.
The Torah, yeah. And that was, thank you. I was like, I was going, I know the words there. I can just see it. I hate to really have to do something about this memory loss. But yeah, I mean, it just to be really neat if we could put appellation on, you know, our honeys, because in some cases you can tell that, you know, not always, but it'd be really nice to be able to go, this is a upstate New York wildflower honey, or, you know, from the fall. You know, that'd be really cool. Westchester County, you know, to be able to say that in a mead, you know, in a commercial mead would be super excellent, because there are people, I could see people going to it for like, you know, allergy reduction, because they say that using bee pollen that, you know, comes from a hive that is in the area that you have severe allergies in can help reduce the effect, you know, the severity of the allergies. I don't know how well it works, but I've heard that it has shown, you know, well in testing. So it's an interesting concept. So, okay, if you were telling, you know, so we got new beekeeper in Westchester County, wants to keep bees, has not the first clue. So what's the first thing you tell him to do beyond hooking him up with a mentee in your club?
Buy his own mask, buy his own veil. You know, just so in case somebody invites you over, or, you know, you want to go do something, you have the equipment to go do it. Don't make a big investment, and just invest in the veil, pair of gloves that you feel comfortable with. You know, most of the gloves that you can buy in the beekeeping magazine, bees can sing to them. So, you know, it all depends on your comfort zone. And if you know, just try it out. That would be the best thing I could tell you.
Is there a particular brand of veil that, you know, is like...
Oh, you can go to Better Bee, you can go to Man Lake, you can go to Brushy Mountain. There's a million bee distributors. Just a veil. Just something to keep them off your face.
Okay.
Always a good thing.
You know, that would be the only thing I recommend. Just go try it out for a season before you jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So, AJ, you've been uncharacteristically quiet, which I take to mean you're taking frantic notes because...
Well, of course I am.
Because bees, yeah. So, I don't know.
Still flipping back and forth between 4 screens to remember what the questions were.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, it's not so much that I'm just kind of going with the flow, because I think Bob's got a lot to offer here. Bob, in case you're not aware, AJ is going to open her own meadery, but she lives in Canada, where in order to open a meadery, you must have bee, you must keep bees. So she's doing all of her, you know, backgrounding stuff to get that. So she's our big note taker, because she's
yeah. They insist that you be running a minimum of 100 hives. So
really?
they don't let you start small out here. I think there's some provinces have actually put in a thing where it only has to be 70 or 80, but still they're not letting you start small.
Do you have to run them yourself, or do you have to have them on your property? You have to be the beekeeper, and there's a little bit of wiggle room about whether they have to be on your property, but your mead production facility has to be in the place where you process your honey. Wow, cool.
Yeah. So it's helping with the sustainability, because I've been reading that a couple of people have said that the United States does not make enough honey to support all of its mead makers.
No.
Whereas in Canada, you won't run into that problem, because they don't let you start small and they don't let you use someone else's honey.
I really believe that, you know, when I spoke at the national conference, not the national, the semi-national conference for the mead makers, EAS, and there were a lot of people there. You'd be surprised how many beekeepers make really good mead. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, they don't really know. A lot of guys do it, have been doing it for years. They're backyard self-taught, and they make great mead. There was a guy I met, Mike Long. He lived in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. He made the best dry meads you ever had.
Really? Yep. Well, I know there's a lot of beekeepers that make mead, but they're strangely quiet about it. You know, they don't really you don't hear from them all that much, because every time I connect up with any of my regional, in my area beekeepers, they're like, most of them are like, yeah, no, we just make the honey, and sell the honey or whatever. They don't really do
There's
anything.
Always one or two. There's always one or two.
There is too. So okay, you get your honey. How do you process your honey? Do you process your honey?
No, I just put it in the extractor.
Okay.
I put a strainer, 400 micron, and that's it.
Is that like a centrifuge type of thing?
Yep, I have a centrifuge. I have a 20 frame max amp. So I do 20 frames at a time. It's electric motor. And it's bolted to the floor. And
you would want it to be.
Tail under it. What's that?
You'd want it to be bolted to the floor.
Yeah, don't dance around your basement.
Yeah.
I'll bet it dance
More
right
than a
through your
Washington,
basement
man.
wall.
But, and that's it. I do that, and first extraction of the season, I always make the traditional. I dump it right out within an hour from the comb, right into the bottle. Or the bucket, however I want to do it.
So you basically you use your honey for making mead mostly.
Pretty much all of it.
Pretty much all. Okay, good.
Do you trade it to other people at all, or?
For what?
I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm sure you've got people going, Bob, I heard you got 100 pounds off your hive. Can you spare some?
Always does. Everybody always does. There's always. I'm the president of the homebrew club. There's always guys who, I just need 8 pounds. I want to do a braggot. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm fair, but most of it ends up in my buckets and my bottle.
Yeah. I think you'll find, Vicky, that's one of the reasons why it only takes an hour from extraction to get inside a bottle. Because once in a bottle, you can't give it away.
You can't give it back. Yeah. I'm sorry, that went into a bucket already.
I don't brew in the summertime because I don't have that temperature control in my basement. I prefer to do my meads in the fall when it's colder.
I got to learn that lesson.
Basement stays colder, but I don't do it in the summer. I don't have that temperature control.
Yeah.
So you do a traditional with your first spring run, and then you don't do any until the autumn.
I don't do anything else. I don't do anything else until late October.
Okay.
What's your favorite yeast for making that traditional?
All depends what I feel like. 71B, D47.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends. If I go to the refrigerator, usually I buy them 10 at a time. I'll go into the refrigerator and see what I have left.
So you let your, this is the yeast I have, and that sort of dictates what sort of mead you'll make?
Sometimes, but, I might have 5 or 6 yeasts in my refrigerator. I'll just pick out what I feel like having. Or see what I have downstairs. I probably have 500, 600 bottles in my basement brewed. So
what's your mead making approach? Are you super scientific, seat of your pants, or somewhere in the middle?
Absolutely not. No hydrometer.
Really?
No hydrometer. No measuring cup.
Okay.
I have a 6-quart measuring cup, and usually I fill it 6 liter. Usually I go to about 5 liters, 15 pounds, and I go from there. And that's it. I know. When I talked to Sergio at Melovino, he's like, "Oh, I want to brew this. I want to brew that." He goes, "Why don't you take notes?" I said, "I don't take notes."
Oh yeah, sorry. I can't talk to you anymore, Bob. I can't tell you.
Everybody always laughs at me.
Well, hey, if it's working for you. Yeah, I mean,
you know what?
I tell people that they have to take notes because mainly they're coming to me going, so I made this mead and I have no notes, so I don't really know what's in it, but it's not working. What's wrong? And it's like, I can't help you.
But if you're doing
I label all my stuff. I do label what it is or what I put in it.
Mm-hmm.
But, people go, "Oh, what was the gravity? What was the final gravity?" I never measure it. I'm just,
don't care.
Yeah, mead as art, right?
Well, that's it. You're going to like the taste of it. And if it's where it stops, it stops. And, if you don't like the taste of it, if it's too dry, you can always back sweeten it, stabilize it, back sweeten it, or you can blend it with something else. I'm big on the blending. I'll have something that's very, very sweet, and I'll have something that's very, very dry. And I prefer to blend it. You get exactly what you want. You don't get that raw, unfermented honey taste sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah, we had a big, long discussion about that on the forum. I'm with you that I don't like back sweetening with raw honey. I think I usually like to use a sweeter mead, and for me it turns out better, quicker. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's and in the in judging, and I'm sure you've heard about this in competitions or seen this in competitions, Bob. You can tell when somebody back sweetens with the raw honey a lot of times because it'll it's a noticeable thing. So,
well, it's noticeable because they use so much.
Yes.
If a guy brings something down to to bone dry, and then he puts 4 pounds of honey in it to bring it back to where the mellow is supposed to be. Of course, it's noticeable. And you know what? It's a horrible taste. It's drinkable. Maybe that's the way he likes it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with people who back sweeten with fruit juice. Taste that, the fresh fruit compared to the, fermented fruit. It's a big difference.
Yeah, it really is. You can definitely tell. So what are you're doing a traditional in the spring. What do you make in the fall?
I make everything in the fall.
Oh.
I made a boysenberry the other day. I made strawberry kiwi the other day. I made a cherry bochette the other day. Marionberry I made the other day.
So you're liking the fruits then?
Black currant. I like the fruit. I like hot peppers.
Mm-hmm.
I made a seaweed a while ago. I got a splatterack seaweed extract. I used that.
You said something about that when we first started talking. Yeah, I want to hear more about that because you had told me something about that when we talked a couple months ago, and I'm curious to hear more about it. Seaweed mead.
A friend of mine, he does all very, very high-end skincare and makeup, and a lot of things he does is made from food-grade seaweed. And I was over at his place, and he's got one of those. He's like the real mad scientist. Like, feel this bottle; it's liquid oxygen. And he grabbed this bottle; it's like 23 pounds, and it looks like it should be a quart. And he goes, "Taste it." And I'm one of those guys. I taste everything, and So he goes, "Taste this," and seaweed extract. I said, "Oh wow!" I said, "Had a nice, sweet, briny, vegetal taste to it." And I said, "I want some of that." So he gave me a half gallon.
Huh.
And I, brewed mead, and I wanted to keep that flavor. So I said, "Who the hell else ever heard of seaweed mead?" So I waited until passed the SNA. I waited to move it into the secondary, and I moved it into secondary. I had the seaweed extract.
Crazy. That's it. So what did it turn out like?
It's nice. I had a couple guys tell me they don't even know where to put it, but one guy told me it was the best meat I ever made, and he was one of them. He was one of the judges who was on the panel when he did Best of Show in New York when I won for the Ghost Pepper Mead. His name's John Nagley. He's a great judge. But I guess everybody has their own personal tastes, and if you like cherry meads, then you like cherry meads. If you like something else. But just because I think he really likes things that are different because it shows that people think outside the box. And I think that's his type of thing. That's why he says it's the best one he's had. But, everybody likes different stuff. That's why judging's so subjective.
Oh, God, yeah. It is terribly subjective. I mean, that was David and I were having that conversation. One of the bottles that he gave me was a cherry Russian mead, and it was really well put together, but I'm not into the whole Russian thing. It just, not Russians in general, but Russian, like Russian style beers, Russian style whatever, that flavoring just doesn't work for me. I'm the same way about a couple of other different things. Agave, or not agave, is it agave? Yeah, agave meads. Yeah. Don't like them.
Yeah, you've said you don't like those, and you weren't hot on the idea of beets either.
No, I wasn't hot on the idea of beets till I tried them. That was actually pretty good. So I was wrong on that one. But I've had 3 or 4 agaves, and they were